A truth table for a PL formula provides the truth value for that formula on every possible valuation of its atoms. Let's work through one example. Let's create a truth table for the formula not P or R and not Q. To provide a truth table for this formula, first we have to make a separate row in the table for each possible way of assigning truth values to its atoms P, Q, and R. So here are the 8 possible ways of doing that. Now we calculate the truth value of the formula, not P or R and not Q, on each of those valuations of its atoms. Our target formula here is a conjunction. The second conjunct, not Q, is simpler than the first, so it makes sense to start there. Not Q just has the opposite truth value to Q, so for not Q, working down the rows of the table, we should write false, false, true, true, false, false, true, true. In any row where not Q is false, the whole conjunction, not P or R and not Q, has to be false. So we can already declare that conjunction false in 4 of the 8 rows. To calculate the truth value of not P or R and not Q in the remaining 4 rows, we need to figure out the truth value of its first conjunct, not P or R, in those 4 rows. That formula's 2 disjuncts are not P and R. The second one is simpler, so it makes sense to start there. Of the remaining rows, R is true in row 3 and R is true in row 7. Thus, the whole disjunction not P or R has to be true in both of those rows, regardless of what truth value not P has in those rows. Since not P or R is true in both rows 3 and 7, and we already determined that not Q is true in both of those rows, then not P or R and not Q is true in both of those rows. That just leaves row 4 and row 8. In row 4, P is true, so not P is false. So both disjuncts of not P or R are false, so that disjunction is false, which means that the first conjunct of not P or R and not Q is false, and that makes that whole conjunction false. In row 8, P is false, so not P is true, so not P or R is true. So both conjuncts of not P or R and not Q are true, hence that conjunction is true. That completes the truth table for not P or R and not Q. We've shown what its truth value is on each possible valuation of its atoms.